more risk you take. And yes, you're a favorite on paper, but that opens yourself up to so many dangers and can backfire. And as we also see Praggnanandhaa in the chasing pack for that championship, he's got the white pieces against Sarana. Speaking of the risk reward, I think
we'll start with Pragg, just because it also features something that you mentioned in the Gukesh game, which we will break down. What do you think? Quick action replay?
Let's do it. Let's take it from the top.
Let's take it from the top. So d4. This one went to the Queen's Gambit in a slightly different move order, so rather than first d5 and c4, which we saw in the Gukesh game. Here, interestingly, Pragg did give Alexey Sarana the option to play the Nimzo Indian, and Pragg has been very ambitious against the Nimzo in recent times. If black had developed the bishop, pinning the white knight, Pragg has used ideas like pawn to a3, very forcing, very kind of imbalanced positions, and later trying to build a big pawn center. So Sarana said, okay, no fun for you. I'm just going to lock up the center. The Queen's Gambit decline now. This is by transposition. And the exchange variation, pawns disappearing in the center and bishop to g5. I must admit, I've always tried to avoid this from the black side throughout my career because white is very, very flexible. And the main move, bishop to e7, here just castling that type of position with a very solid Carlsbad pawn structure. Black with central pawns here, white after e3 will put his pawns in the center. That leads to a lot of mainline theory. But you mentioned this move, Tanya, bishop to e6. I must admit I'm not familiar with it, and it doesn't look like a great bishop, but he's keeping flexible with the other bishop at least.
Yeah, slightly strange development move there, right? And I had a quick look at our database here, David, and it's the 7th most popular move in the position, bishop to e6. Instead of that, black has played bishop e6 more than 4,000 times. You've got h6, you've even got the knight coming out to d7, the knight coming out on the other side, and basically just keeping this bishop on c8, keeping it flexible to arrive on either e6, f5, g4 later on in the game. Bishop e6 has only been played 173 times, while bishop to e7 more than 4,000 times. That's how less this position has appeared, and very few times at top level chess. I'm quickly going through it. We've got games by Fedosiev. He's employed it with the black pieces here, bishop to e6 against none other than Daniel Naroditsky. So we see players play it, but a slight, quick, early surprise here by Sarana.
Yeah, and it's very provocative, I've got to say. This bishop is pretty much trapped, so white does have the option of kind of thinking about moves like f4, maybe not yet, but in the near future, trying to catch this bishop on a slightly awkward, slightly embarrassing square. But yeah, maybe it's just about getting the bishop out before the knight develops. Maybe, Tanya, he's vacated the c8 square. Could we see a quick c5 in the near future? Yeah, I'm wondering, I'm trying to justify this. I guess also in similar circumstances, that I believe is with a pawn on a6 rather than c6. That is also a very kind of well-known system. leave Elmar alone. If you just focus on the black king, just a very quick recap. Prag looks eager to make a move. He's got 20 minutes. Okay, maybe no time for a recap. He's about to show us the way. A6. Wow, I like it, Tanya. He's stopped the black rook, the black bishop from ever blocking any checks. He's controlling that square. Just a quick recap then for everyone at home. We jumped in, we saw knight takes a6, double exclamation point here. Sacrifice. Rook takes c6 being the idea. The defenses are broken. Rook d7 was Sarana's attempted defense. We didn't investigate this, but knight to f5 is now allowed. There's no diagonal open anymore for the black bishop. The queen drops back. She has to defend her knight. Now after a capture, a6. And okay, computer approves. What is the plan though? Do you see an immediate knockout for white?
I think this is just such a classy move, right? And so instructive, because for me it was so attractive to just pick up the b5 pawn with a check, but that would have given Sarana the opportunity he needs to get the pieces and to defend. And Prag doesn't rush. He doesn't rush with the most natural moves, so sort of fighting his instincts, takes away that key square with the move a6, and they would always eyeing that pawn going one step forward to a7 to open up the a line, even if it comes at the cost of a little pawn there. It's going to be a big file to open up. Queen takes pawn. Notice how the b5 pawn cannot be defended. You can't guard against it. To me, the big question is, if black was to, let's say, go king a8, just preempting queen takes pawn, I really don't see another move here. Maybe you can just, if there's any suggestions, stop me. But the point I want to make is that king a8, queen takes pawn. Okay, we've got an answer already. Rook to a7 is the move of choice. Let's go ahead with the check. King to a8, and now is the big question. How are you finishing this off? And David, there is one idea that I want to point out here. Now the rook has moved to d7, to a7, the d6 square. White knight on h4 that was so beautifully placed as a defender. Rook d6, knight d6 are two very attractive moves to me here. But that knight landing on d6 might just be a killer move.
I love it, Tanya. And I just want you to show as well, you're attacking this bishop now. If the bishop tries to save itself, I think you have a sneaky idea in mind.
Should we ask chat? Because it's too beautiful. It's really a stunning trick. And I think both of us want the same finish. David, white to play for. Put your thinking hats on. Let's keep an eye on our board. By the way, queen takes pawn, king 8 on the board. We might be seeing knight d6. Let's see if chat gets this trick.
We do see knight d6. Let's just show it again. Queen takes pawn check happened. Knight d6. Well, he's played it. It's on the board, Tanya.
Queen to b6. A beautiful, beautiful, stunning finish. A queen sacrifice on the board by Praggnanandhaa that would have led to checkmate. Our chat spotted it as well. David, you will break this down to us once we get our live boards. But what a way to finish this game off at this stage of the tournament, right? Getting that piece play in, fully controlling the board, getting a sacrifice,